Welcome to Tallest to Titles Down Under Dynasty with your host at Life from the Ben, and with me as usual, my co-host at FF Format. How are you today, Matt? You well?
Mate, I'm doing wonderfully well. Something different. How about you, Benny?
Yeah, I'm great, mate. Can't complain at all. Life is roses.
Life is roses. You about to head back in the office shortly?
I don't know yet. Nothing's really been announced. I'm expecting to be able to still work from home for the most part.
We've got our connecting in person day, they're calling it. So I think it's the 1st of March. Where they've asked everyone across I think everyone except for South Australia, they've asked them to come back to the office. So not full time, just a couple of days here, a couple of days there. So something a bit different. Be good to get in the office, but been enjoying working from home as well. So yeah, it's all happening.
Sounds exciting, mate.
It's thrilling. Can't wait to get back in the office. Just can't wait.
How are you coping with the end of the NFL season?
Yeah, it's a bit sad, isn't it? You know, luckily, mate, thank goodness we're Dynasty players. What would you do if you're a redraft player? You just, you'd probably start watching basketball or something terrible like that. Like, get a grip, people. It's good for us, right? Best time of the year. You start making some trades, looking at your picks. Everything's roses. You've got no idea if you're going to hit or miss on anyone. All your players, they're going to be studs, right? So it's great. It's a good time of the year for us, I think.
All my players are studs, mate.
Well, there you go, yeah. Especially Jordan Love, right?
Hey, man, that guy gets too much hate. Too much hate.
Looks like he'll be starting next year. A few cryptic posts from Mr. Rogers.
Yeah, it doesn't mean anything when it comes to that bloke. It doesn't mean anything at all.
Who knows? But yeah, wait and see. I guess we'll find out soon enough.
Yeah. So, look, tonight's episode, we were going to focus on vets. So, vets to forget. So, vets that we don't want any part of, or right into the sunset. So, if they're on our team, we'll stick with those and just take those points and not trade them. And we might even throw in a couple of little specials there of vets we might want to acquire. And Hatton's gone. Awkward. Oh, wait, there he is. Back again.
I'm back again.
What happened, mate?
Fat thumbs. I'm trying to fix up my doormat on the little banner there. I've got a capital M and a capital A. And I'm typing away, and I got to be excited, and hit the back button. So there you go. Don't go.
Oh, good, mate. All right, so Matt has been kind enough to get a list going here. And the qualifications for veteran, mate, you're making me feel old here. 25 for a running back, which is fair enough, but 26 for a wide receiver.
We're not saying they're over the hill, right? We're just saying that they're vets, into their second contract, getting on that age a little bit. We don't have to get through every single person, but it's pretty obvious with Adam Thielen, right? We're not going to review 32, 33-year-old wide receivers too much, but I think as they start getting a little bit older, I think you can start having that question now before they hit the older age. So yeah, so this list came from an article ESPN put up. Mike Clay's top 240 dynasty assets. I think 239 he has Jordan Love, which is quite interesting. I think it's not Superflex. I think he's done it for a one quarterback league. So not really too fussed about his rankings. Everyone's got their own rankings. He's probably a lot smarter than me. But on that ranking, it does have their age. These guys, how old they turn week one of the NFL kickoff. So Christian McCaffrey, he'll be 26 years and 3 months. Week one next year. So it's a good list from that perspective, just to see how old these guys will be when it sort of kicks off next year.
All right. So and so when we discuss, forgetting or riding into the sunset, whatever we choose to do here, Are you factoring in trade value, what you could get for them if you did want to trade them versus the points on your roster? Because, I mean, there's obviously some players here who, they're going to get you a lot of points. They're probably not going to get you a lot of trade value.
Well, I think it's in the discussion, right? For all, you're taking all factors. So some guys, we just got to keep them because, I think DeAndre Hopkins, you missed the boat to trade him now. You're not going to get as much as you're going to get from some other players, and he's going to get you a lot of points. So for me, DeAndre Hopkins is someone I'd want to, ride into the sunset to a victory for many years to come. But other players, maybe they're the same age, but their name's a little bit hotter or something, you might get a bit more trade value. So even though you might score your points, you still get that trade value back. So that's one you might want to flip. Where DeAndre, I think I'm happy to take a bit of a value loss. I'll keep him on my roster and win a few leagues. Again,
mate. All right. Again. So look, before we get started, you can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Podbean, Facebook, 2 groups, Toys Titles, and When a Family Breaks, and of course Spotify. Please hit the like and subscribe button if you get an opportunity to view this show. The more people following on the YouTube channel, the better for all of us. And while I'm here, just so I remember, Toys Titles has a Patreon now. Tier 1 is $3 per month. That gets you to the T2T group chat. Tier 2 is $5 per month. That gets you to early access to waiver wire episodes. Enter into our Frankenstein Listener League and in the T2T group chat. And Tier 3 is $10 per month. That gets you one-on-one roster analysis, free entry into the Frankenstein Listener League, T2T group chat, early access to the waiver wire episodes. All right, so Matt, I'm going to start with the first veteran on this list. Christian McCaffrey, age 26, coming off 2 pretty injury-plagued years. Are you? What are you doing with C-Mac?
Yeah, look, this is a hard one. I still believe in him. I still think he's got a massive ceiling. I think he's probably locked into a workload that no one else is going to get. Even Jonathan Taylor's not going to get that workload. In my mind, I think the injuries are all a little bit unrelated. I don't really think he's too injury prone. He's had a couple of bad years. So I'm probably not going to get what I'd want to flip him for. I'd be looking to still get a haul for him. I don't think he can get it. So I think I'm going to ride into the sunset. Yippee-ki-yay with Christian McCaffrey.
So you think he's on your roster now to the end of time?
I think so. I think he's 26. So 26 3 months. He has a big year. 27 next year. His value's not going to go up. I can't see it going up really too much. And I think a lot of people aren't going to pay that for a running back who's already getting a bit older and he's had a couple of bad years. You look at Barkley, look at Christian McCaffrey. These superstars now, I think their value is just not the same. I can't see how he can be the RB1 in value ever again, really. But he could be the RB1 or thereabouts in points come the end of the year.
If I looking at the January Superflex Dynasty ADP on Dynasty League Football, McCaffrey's RB4 going pick 18, rank 18 overall, 20.25. He's going right around Jalen Hurts, Russell Wilson, Kyle Pitts. I would trade, if I could get Kyle Pitts for Christian McCaffrey, I'd smash accept on that.
Smash accept. Good luck getting it from a Kyle Pitts owner.
Based off this startup ADP, you could potentially get that.
Is it startup or mock? So
it's a mock ADP. It's a mock, yeah.
So it's in mocks and real life's different, right? Especially I think startup's even different too, right? In a startup, you're flipping a coin. You need that running back, But once you've got Kyle Pitts, you're not going to give him up for a haul. You see other people give 3 firsts and 2 seconds, and Jordan Love as well to top it off, and other studs. But you see these Godfather offers, and I think most Pitts owners want that. So if you can get it, yeah, go for it. But I just think you can't get that anymore for McCaffrey, in my experience anyway. If you can, smash accept. But I think good luck getting that deal.
Do you think you could get RB5 Javonte Williams?
No chance.
Really? Okay. Do you think you could get Jalen Waddle, wide receiver 8?
You shouldn't be able to. I wouldn't do it. I think I'd rather Waddle. But you could get a Waddle. Maybe you got a runner who's wide receiver so deep, needs that running back. You could find a wide receiver anywhere. So maybe you could, but I'd probably rather Waddle. What about yourself, mate? Are you sunsetting him, forgetting him?
I'm probably look. I'll keep C-Mac. I think that he's got a really high floor. Just in his ability to catch passes, even on the back end of his career, he could be that mid RB2 just for his ability to catch passes. So even though his prime might not be much longer, I think he's going to have like a second prime as kind of like a more plus version of Danny Woodhead when he was on the Patriots. If that makes
you
sense.
can see him. That's a good comment. I was sort of thinking of a talented J.D. McKissick, but probably Woodhead's a little bit better. But you can see him just clocking up those points, can't you? Whether his performance in the field is as good as it is or not remains to be seen. But yeah, he's going to get those touchdown passes, and he's going to be valuable for a little while. So
with everything that's happening, maybe he goes stuff it and moves to the slot.
Who knows, mate?
Who knows?
Who knows?
Anyway, look, we spent a little bit on him. All right, so this is a really strange one. I don't know what to do with this guy. Cooper Kupp. Age 29.
I'll let you go first on this one. So he's 29.2 kickoff next year. Had a phenomenal season, the wide receiver 1, best ever, right? 17 games, but the best ever. First year with his quarterback, so he's probably going to get even better next year, right? We can just lock that in.
Look, I'm going to try my absolute hardest to trade Cooper Kupp. I wouldn't want to stick with him. I think when Bobby Woods is back, and if they do bring back Odell, we might be out for a while. I just think this was a career year. I don't think he'll see another year like this. Maybe he'll come back to bite me on the butt, but I mean, if I could flip him, there are plenty of guys on this list that I would trade him for who are going after him. If I look at ADP, so DK Metcalf, I would cash out on Metcalf for Kupp. I'd cash out on Kupp for Metcalf in a second. Debo, I'd cash out on Kupp for Debo. Even Devonta Adams. Mate, oh no, not Devonta. No, that was a lie. Jalen Waddle. I cash out on Waddle, going wide receiver 8, compared to Kupp's wide receiver 6.
So cash out, you'd rather Waddle than Kupp.
Yep.
Yep.
I'd even take. I'd probably even go all the way down to like a T Higgins who's going at wide receiver 12.
There's bold. You do love yourself a bit of T. Do you think there's a world where any of these guys, or most of these guys, outscore Cooper Kupp
next season?
Yeah.
I think DK could, if he still has Wilson. I think Waddle could, based off the way McDaniels was talking about him.
You'd probably need Kupp to come off the boil a bit, wouldn't you?
Yeah, but I mean, It could happen, and I still think this was a career year for him.
Yeah, look, I'm with you. I think you try and squeeze all the juice you can out of Cooper Kupp and There's a little bit left there to trade him. So I'll be doing the same thing. I think you can still get a bit of that name hype there because he was the wide receiver one, a little bit different to McCaffrey, right? McCaffrey, we didn't see it on the field. With Cooper Cup, we saw it on the field. And there's just been so many players, right, that have had these massive years, and it's just hard for a player to repeat year after year. I think Tyreek did it a couple of years ago. Still had a good year, but he was nowhere near the one. There's been a couple, I think Stephon Diggs as well. He had a massive year, and it's just hard for players to back up, right? The defenses learn a bit about them. Maybe they just have a little bit of niggling injury that we don't know about, or whatever. It could be scheme. There's just so many variables. So I think, it's going to be tough for Cooper Cup to do what he did this year. It was such a big year. And a good point, Robert Woods coming back to. I think that's what muddies the water. So, yeah, I think I'm going to forget Cooper Cup. Get him in vinyl worthy, fellas.
And Bryson Hopkins, mate, he's going to emerge. He saw it 4 catches in the Super Bowl. Yeah, he looked all right.
Looked good. Yeah, didn't miss a beat.
All right.
Shame about OBJ.
That is a shame. Do we want to talk about Tyreek Hill?
Up to you, mate. You go. You're the head honcho.
Mate, I'm just an everyman.
You're an everyman.
I'm forgetting Tyreek Hill. I'm trying. I'll try and trade Tyreek Hill. If I can shift down and get any player going after him in ADP and get something for him, I would do that. Waddle is still going. I would take Waddle over Tyreek. DK over Tyreek.
Who win you take over Waddle? I think he's your 101, isn't he? Startup.
No, he's not my 101. Don't be silly. But yeah,
it's tough for me. Yeah. I'm sort of with you. I think it's a good time to sell him. You can still get a good deal out of him. I think he's got a lot of name recognition still with Patrick Mahomes. And he's just got that history that you just don't know, right? Like he's been fantastic on the field and off field since all those issues have happened, but that's just always in the back of my mind. So I'd be happy to move off and forget Tyreek. Get yourself some booty.
We've just seen the bottom of the drop out of these receivers every round. Every year when they get to 28, 29 years old. This happens time and time again. I mean, there's guys now who are 29, 30 who I just wouldn't sell because their values drop so precipitously that it's just not worth it, right?
Yeah. I think we mentioned Hopkins, right? Like he's still a bit of value, still a bit of a name, but he's just hit that cliff where I think Tyreek's another level. I think he's a step above in value. Still got that name there. So good time to sell before he turns into DeAndre Hopkins.
Before he turns into a pumpkin.
Pretty much.
All right. Ooh. Let's talk about these guys both together. Alvin Cook and Alvin Kamara. What are you doing?
Look, I've never been the biggest Dalvin Cook fan. I think I had him the lowest out of all our rankings that we did started last year. But I don't think you can get much for him. Yeah, but even saying that, look, it's a real hard one, isn't it? You
know? That's a tough one because he's in this ADP. He's going RB11, pick 39, 40, and the names that are advertising around him, they're just not there. I think you've almost got to hold him again. Like T. Higgins is going. T. Higgins is right next to him. Antonio Gibson's right next to him. If I could cash out for either one of those guys, I would do it.
What other running backs are around his ADP?
Derrick Henry's around him. Nick Chubb's around him.
Yeah,
but I just don't think because he's only had that one huge year, and then he's just gotten hurt, right? But I mean, he was still great on a points per game basis this year. He still got a chance to finish as the RB1 overall. But I think you've just got to almost hold him just based off what you can get for him, right?
27 started next year. No one's buying a 27-year-old running back, really. If they are, they're offering you, nickels and a dime, or the other way around. I don't know. They're offering you peanuts, really. I'm probably, if I've got him, I'm not getting much for him. So I'd rather take the points, I think.
Yeah, fair enough. And really, it's the same story then with Henry, Kamara. It's even maybe Chubb at this point, right?
I think you can still get a bit of value for Henry. I think a lot of people still.
He's going after Dalvin in this ADP, this January ADP.
Yeah. Look, and probably rightly so. I think it's a conflict really, but I just think some people you still get that odd owner that for whatever reason just love Derrick Henry. So you might be able to get something for him there, but yeah, I think all those players that these older running backs, not the best time to move. You've missed the boat. So unless they had a massive year last year, which I think none of these guys really did, right? Unless Kareem Hunt moves on, if Chubb's still splitting the share load, or unless you got a Nate Dirt in your league that loves himself a bit of Chubb. I think you're holding these guys. You're not going to be able to replace them with a running back of any value if you're selling them,
Yeah, but would you take a single first for them if you were not contending? You probably have to, right?
I probably would. Derrick Henry, I took a first last year. I bought him for first last year. Look, I think so. I think I'd take a first for him, especially if you get a 23 first for any of these guys. If you're not contending, I think so. I think Cook, Kamara, maybe you want a little bit more, but for Chubb, Derrick Henry, if you're not contending, you probably take a first.
Yeah, but I mean, what are you going to want in 12 months' time, right? Dalvin Cook at 23 first.
Easy. Yeah, he's 28, right? So
he'll be 28 years old.
Yeah, you want that 23 first, right? Even if he has a massive year, he's still going to want that. It's not going to be close.
Agree. And look, one that didn't quite fall into this tier because he's a little bit younger. Saquon.
Yeah, look, I still think he's a good value. I think he might have the most upside out of these older players, but he's only 25.7 next year. If you can get a bit of health in him and somehow, if the Giants can improve that O-line, right, if they can just draft a couple of decent players, maybe get a bit better coach in than Joe Judge, you can sell yourself that story that he's going to have a better year. But he hasn't got that name anymore, has he? So I don't think you can sell him for much. So I'm probably gonna ride Barkley till his knees turn to biscuits and he's dust.
Barkley's probably one of the guys I actually go out and try to buy even if I didn't have him because he seems to be getting a lot of hate at the moment.
Yeah, that's I think that's a good approach to have. I think RB13 and for the price you'd pay, he's RB13. He doesn't know what the ADP is, but
he's 10 in the ADP. Yeah, I mean, probably. I think
you can buy him pretty cheap. You might be able to get you might be able to get 2 seconds for him.
He's going. He's going after Dalvin. I'd probably prefer him to Dalvin.
Yeah, you get yourself a year and a half, right?
Yeah.
He's had that. He's got that high upside still. Yeah, I think he's generational talent. He's just been unlucky. He's just been injured, right? Had that terrible ankle injury, and just I think that he just needs, like I said, a little bit of luck with the health, and you can't get in a much worse situation than we had last year, right? You think it can't get much worse for him, so I think he's a buy.
Yeah,
definitely not a sell for me. I don't think you can get much for him, so it's not a good time to sell.
All right. What are you doing with Calvin Ridley? Is he even playing next year?
Yeah, look, I think he is. It would have been good to know something by now. I think the Atlanta Falcons owner is Arthur Blank, their owner. He did come out and tried to clarify the situation, but didn't say much more. Just that he was here for him and supported him and whatnot. So yeah, look, I think he plays next year. But what can you get for him? That's the question. It's hard because there's a lot of nervous, safe dynasty owners out there. So yeah, it just really depends on that price you get. It's hard to speculate. I don't think you can get what he's worth if he returns to the field, and I think he does return to the field. So I'm gonna keep him on my side, ride him to the sunset. What about you, Benny?
Yep, keeping, riding. Let's go. Travis Kelce.
Kelce, yeah, horse is bolted. You should have sold him last year before. He's probably going to be the tight end one again or close enough in points. If he stays healthy, great organization, great player, never in trouble. So yeah, keep.
I'll keep him and have you're probably still having another. Even when he drops off, he's probably still going to be a mid tight end one for another 3 or 4 years, right?
Another 40 years, mate. Tight end one's not saying much, is it really?
Yeah.
So yeah, he's sweet.
How about Zeke? What are you doing with Zeke?
Yeah, look, he's actually not as old as I thought he is. Looking at Tony Pollard, I think Tony Pollard's getting a lot older than what some people think he is. But I think that you can't get much for him. Is the problem? So yeah, for me again, he's keep. I don't think there's not much you can squeeze out of him really. He looked pretty ordinary last year. Didn't have much burst. Didn't look that great. Cowboys defense was pretty good. So for me, yeah, I think he's not one of these names you can get much for. What about you?
Yeah, you just got to. I just take the points.
Yeah.
If I get a single first, I get it. But otherwise, he's staying on my roster till the end of time.
Yeah, I think people are going to be offering 2 seconds, right? Like,
yeah, and if I get 2.23 seconds, and I thought one would be high, I'd think about it.
Yeah.
Tyler Lockett.
Almost 30 starting next year.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Let's group a few of these guys together for the sake of time. So Tyler Lockett, Keenan Allen, and Amari Cooper.
Look,
fuck, marry, kill.
Yeah, it's a bit like that, isn't it? I probably only want Cooper out of all these, really. Cooper, Lockett. Who was the third option?
Cooper, Lockett, Keenan Allen.
Look, I like Keenan, but he's a bit long on the tooth. Lockett, he's just so boom and bust, right? It's hard to say what you're going to get for these guys, and you don't know where Russell Wilson is. So I think all those figures just affect Tyler Lockett. So that's you're not going to get much for him, So I'm probably keeping him. Keenan Allen, we're all ages. I'm keeping him. What about you, mate?
Of those three, Amari's the one I want the least to do with. And I'll trade him for whatever I can get.
I think, for my opinion, is you probably get the most for Murray. Just because we've got that a possibility the Cowboys start throwing the ball a little bit more. Not as old as the other two situations known, right? We don't know what Ty Lockett's going to do. So I think you can get a little bit more for Amari. So yeah, I'd probably try and cash out and come Amari while CD's still emerging.
Yeah, I definitely hold Lockett. I just feel like he's going to have that 1 year where he gets the targets where they throw enough and he gets the targets that he should. I don't want to miss out on it.
Can you imagine if they start throwing the ball?
He'd be disgusting. It'd be like sexy disgusting.
Yeah, you just don't know, right? Look at the Bills. How many times they threw the ball from 1 year to the other, just changed so much. So you never know.
And Keenan Allen, just keep for some reason he's not a very appealing player to people, right? He's not sexy. He's never been a sexy name, even when he was a top stud wide receiver.
Yeah, I think it's just, I don't know. Is it his appearance that he just looks older than what he is? I don't know. Maybe we really are ageist in Dynasty more than we think. But yeah, he's never had that massive appeal. Bit like Mike Evans, I think. Just a bit underrated.
Yeah, Evans probably belongs in that tier, but he'd be clearly the top for me. Actually, no, I think he's separate. He's in his own tier.
Yeah, I think he's a step above,
and he's definitely sunset. Ride him, right? He's definitely riding him into the sunset.
Yeah, even if you got a first for him, right? Like, which you should, I wouldn't sell him. You'd want a bit more.
I think he could have another, 4 or 5 good years.
Be interesting to see what they do at quarterback, and Godwin's going to probably be gone, right? So, sensational talent.
Alrighty. A-Rob and Michael Thomas, putting those two together, both 29 years old, both coming off, well, Thomas is coming off nothing. A-Rob's coming off one of his most disappointing seasons to date.
Look, I don't know about Thomas. I'll let you go first on Thomas. I think A-Rob, you got to keep him. He's got to bounce back. He can't get any lower. You can't. Surely his price can't bottom out any more than it has. So if you got him, you hold him, and you can get. You can see how his price can increase a little bit. I just think he just his heart wasn't in the situation. The coach is gone. I think, for me, he's a hold. I'll sell him maybe in 6 months' time.
I'm holding both of those guys, and I'd probably be aggressively trying to buy both because I think both could have big years.
Yeah, he's just 29, right? I think Michael Thomas is 29 and a half kickoff. Robinson's still 29, so yeah. Mate, he probably had a rest this year too, Robinson. He's nice and fresh. You can't really count this year. He didn't do too much.
He didn't do much at all, mate, did he?
Just turned up a little bit, put the uniform on, and had a bit of a rest.
Are there any other names on this list that you really want to talk about?
A couple of interesting ones for me. Just Leonard Fournette, free agent, 25. Be keen to pick your brain on Fournette. And then maybe an older quarterback, Dak Prescott, right? He's still that big name. You still get a lot for him. What are you doing with Dak? The Superflex League, are you cashing out now? Can you cash out?
Oh, look, I don't think he's. Look, I think that the threshold for quarterbacks has to be a bit higher. I don't think he's old enough to kind of be in the same discussion as the running backs and the wide receivers that we're having, in my opinion.
Yeah, look, it's still, he's probably going to play for another 10 years.
5 or 6 years. Yeah,
easy.
Yeah, easy.
Easy.
In regards to Fournette, I would, if you can get Fournette for a second round pick, I'd just be buying that all day. He's been productive the last 2 years, and he catches passes. 27 years old. Is he 27 now? Jesus.
27 next year. So this kick off next year, right?
Yeah.
So he's 26 this year now, but when week one of the season kicks off next year, he's 27 and a half, 27.7.
I mean, you look at his ranking, and I mean, he's been really productive. So I'd be buying him, and I'd be right. Like, who's selling him for what you'd want to pay?
I'd buy him for any second. Yeah, even an early second. You can't. You're not going to get that return from that second that you're going to get for Fournette for the next few years, right? He's looked great on the field too. It's not like a Zeke situation where he's looked dusty. He's been great.
Yeah, it's always, like, because when you talk about trading first and second, it's like you trade a second, that pick's not going to be the 101, right? Even if it's the 201, it's not the 101. Anytime you trade a first, no matter how good you think your team is, there's always a chance, right, the shit can hit the fan, and that pick is, top 3 or 4. Right.
Yeah.
Buying quarterback. I'd still be buying Stafford. I think he could have an even better year than this year. Just build even more chemistry with people who are not Cooper Kupp, and maybe throw less than 17 interceptions and more than 40 touchdowns.
Could get even better.
Yeah, I'd buy Russell Wilson if I'm looking to buy old quarterbacks. And Aaron Rodgers scares the crap out of me at the moment because I've got no idea. I wouldn't be buying Aaron Rodgers at the moment. I think it's unlikely he retires, but you just don't know.
It's going to be factored into the price, right? You're probably going to get a bit of a price tip. If you got someone who's a bit of a panic, you can say, look, next year he's 39. Maybe you're over the dramas.
Maybe.
I'm happy to take him off your hands at a discount. This sort of is where you can make your money, right? In these moves.
What quarterback would you try and trade straight up for him that you think people might bite on?
Yeah, look, it's a hard one. Have you got the ADP there? Let's pull up his ADP, see who's going around him. I think it's a real hard one. He's because his situation's unknown. He's probably going to outscore, Matt Stafford, but you're not giving up Matt Stafford for Aaron Rodgers, right?
Let's go. Let's do. Just make sure I'm on the Superflex ADP. All right, Aaron Rodgers is going quarterback 13. Before Wilson, after Stafford, I would take both of those guys over Rodgers. Deshaun Watson, Tua Tagovailoa. Would you trade one of those guys for Watson today?
One of those guys for Watson? Yeah,
for Rodgers. For Rodgers. My bad. Sorry.
No, I wouldn't.
Watson or Tua for Rodgers?
If I was out in Tua, I might do it, but I'm not out in Tua. None of them.
Where I'd be going right now is I'd be seeing if I could take Ryan Tannehill or Derek Carr and trade them for Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, look, definitely Carr. I think I'd rather Rodgers. Tannehill. Yeah, I'd probably still rather Rodgers. I think he
even with the potential of retirement. So you go from, you've got a chance of going from a guy like two players who will be starting quarterbacks next year, right, to nothing. Are you really?
Carr.
Yeah.
Yep. I think he plays. I think there's zero chance he does. Well, not zero chance, but I think it's just it's pretty. I reckon he plays. Is what I'm trying to put in the words. So, I'd rather him than Carr. Tannehill, I might not do, but definitely Carr. I'd rather him than Carr. I'd rather him than Jimmy G.
Do you think he plays for the Packers?
No. I thought he was going to stay, but just reading between those lines on Instagram posts where he's posted, pictures of the team without him. I think he normally stands between Devontae and Cobb. And there's a picture of them two with a gap in between, right? So maybe he's just using that for leverage or whatnot. But I think he's got too much talent. The way the year finished, for all the hate he gets, and probably rightly so. I think he's still a driven man. I think he still wants to go out in a high. So he's got something to prove there.
He did come out and say that was a gratitude post and nothing more.
Yeah. So, I think he plays. Hopefully it's with Denver. I'd love to see him in Denver, but even if he comes back with the Packers again, I'd still rather him over Carr.
Okay.
What
What
about
do you? I would. It would depend on this is a bit of a cop out, but it would depend on what my quarterback situation was. Like if I had if I had three solid starters.
That's a total cop out. It's not a bit of a cop out. It's a total cop out. All these caveats here, Mr. Host.
It's true though, right? It really depends on my roster construction and can I afford the risk?
Yeah, look, that's you got to take this into account, obviously, right? For any of these things, you don't listen to this if you're trying to rebuild. You just sit on those old guys straight away, right?
Yeah.
And if you're trying to win, you win now, and you got a heavy roster that's finished close enough to the top that you're buying those old players. But in a vacuum, that's sort of what we're talking about a bit. So it's a little bit hard because nothing exists in the vacuum. But yeah, if you've got a good quarterback room, it's a little bit easier, right? If you're a bit light on, Rodgers is your second quarterback. Doesn't play, there's just sharks circling around. Everyone knows you need that quarterback. You're getting itchy, and there's not much out there, right? We've a couple retired, Roethlisberger gone, Brady gone. Good luck trying to buy a quarterback without a quarterback.
I do. I bought Trey Lance.
Yeah, cost you a bit, didn't it?
Just a switching. How about Darren Waller?
Yeah, look, that's a real tough one because I think he's still got a bit of value there. So I think I'd try and sell him. I'd try and sell him for something, for whatever I can get for. He's probably going to bounce back, but I still think his name's got a bit of value in my mind anyway. Don't know how you feel about him, but I reckon you can cash out on him and get something back.
Yeah, I'd probably sell.
It just worries me with his history, where he's going to go, which way he's going to go. So I think I'd be happy to cash out. And
I might hold and wait for a week one game like last year's week one, and then cash out. The only guy on this list I really want to touch on. There's two. One is Melvin Gordon.
So Melvin Gordon's 29.5 next year to kick off.
Yep. But I'd probably I'd be riding him into the sunset. I don't think you can get anything for him.
I think I bought him for a second and a third last year, or 2/3 something last year. He's already he's just not worth anything already. So yeah, I'm with you. You could just reproduce what he produced this year again. So yeah, sunset.
And last one is Stefan Diggs.
Kept the best for last.
What are you doing?
Look, I think it depends on your league, right? Again, a bit of a cop out. I think I'm going to sell him. I think he's still got that upside with Josh Allen. He had that massive year 2 years ago. So if you're a bit of a salesman, you can squeeze a bit of nut out of that juice, or the other way around, squeeze a bit of juice out of that nut. I'm gonna forget and just cash out, get a little bit back, youth back, and sell him. That's you, mate.
I just don't know what you could get for him. If I could pivot to a Chris Godwin, I'd probably do that. If I could if I could trade him for Saquon Barkley, I'd probably do that. But yeah, look, he's one I'm looking to unload.
First and a second. Are you? Is that enough?
23 first and second. Look, you can't really just trade that production for picks if you're contending, can you?
Yeah, you can never trade it for if
you can't.
You never can. But
you got to hold.
Yeah.
I think the move for somebody like Diggs might be to look. You either write it out or you add, and then try to jump up a tier.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. For one of those young hot things.
those young hot things, you might have to add a lot to get up to that top tier, but maybe the tier below Jefferson and Chase, you might be able to get some youth. What about, for me, the final one for me is Mr. Julio Jones. Julio Jones, 33.5 next year, 33.7 kickoff next year, week 1. What are you doing?
Well, you're just holding him. He's got no value. You're not going to do anything with him. You just hold and hope he can. I don't know. Just
someone offered you a second for Julio. What would you do?
Yeah, I'd have to take it. Any second I would take for Julio Jones.
Yeah, he's full on, isn't he?
Yeah.
Very sad.
I'd take any second. Even if I was a contender, I'd take any second because I shouldn't be relying on him if I'm a contender at this point. You know, Julio Jones shouldn't be the.
Yeah, I think you can package that second too, right? You can package that second for someone else, and.
But I honestly don't think you could get a second for him.
Yeah, you probably couldn't.
All right. Was there anything else you want to discuss or bring up before we get out of here?
No, I think we covered it pretty much. I think that's all about I had. Just counting down the days to the
draft.
To the rookie draft.
Yeah. And what's happening with the T2T Dynasty League, mate?
Just waiting for a few tardy folks to join in. Get in the action. I think we're about half. So about half the invites out. We're about 6-7 players there, and pretty big team now. I think so. We shouldn't have any trouble filling it, but yeah, be good to get that underway. Have a bit of fun with the team.
Oh, yeah. Love a bit of fun with you, Doormat. All right. Well,
you taking the team, mate. What's the strategy? We're going to talk a bit of strategy before the draft, so I can pick your brain, see what you're going to do.
Mate, we can talk strategy all off season, but after the draft, are we going? What are we doing with the rookies? Are they just going in the pool, just in the startup?
Yeah, in the startup, yeah, definitely, yeah. I'm not the rookies, the picks, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm asking. Yeah. Are you going to put the rookie picks in there? Are you going to create the picks, or are you just going to put all the players?
No, I've already created the picks. So we want to do the draft before the NFL draft, so I've already created the picks. They're in there.
Let's just pick the players. Let's pick the players before they're on teams, mate. Like real professionals.
I've done that before, and it was just terrible. It was terrible. I think I picked
in a startup or in a rookie draft. It's worse in a rookie draft than a startup. It's not as costly.
It was an auction league. I think it was just the rookie draft. And I spent $1 squillion on Damian Harris, and then Bill Belichick just gets him to sit behind 7 other running backs. And it was spitting chips. I think there's a few unhappy people there with some landing spots. That's really when the landing spot matters, right? So yeah, once bit, twice shy. I shan't be doing that.
Fair enough. No, understand you're scared.
It's just more fun, mate. It's just more fun having these rookie picks, and then you can have your draft, and just gives you those 2 drafts. I think it's a bit of fun. Just straight it out. It's a long off season, right?
That's true. Long off season, and we're only going to join one startup league each this year, right? That's it. This is the only one you're joining.
Only one. What did we do last year? I think I only joined one last year. I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
I think Fog of War might have been it, really. Couple of charity leagues. I think that was it. So yeah, hopefully get those leagues down a bit, mate, because it's too many at the minute. So
I've managed to drop 3 or 4.
Yeah, I had one where half the league messaged me. It was one on commission and sort of said they were going to be out. It was a bit of a unique league, so that sort of has gone by the wayside. And I think
what league's that?
That was the Pirate League, the 4th Trade League. So a few of the boys sort of a little bit unhappy, I think, with how it was going. It's one of those leagues that if you get, you make a couple of poor choices, you're gone. So a couple of poor teams there, and I think I paid the buy-in for 3 or 4 teams last year. It's bit hard to keep doing that. So a couple of guys messaged me, said they're going to be out midway through the year, so it looks like that league's folded up. And then a couple of others. I left one. I think I've mentioned a couple of times here that a bit of a bad commission story, and the other one was just folk awards. Didn't really enjoy that best ball format, and I think our startup draft, right, we were lumped in with a bunch of other sellouts that sort of just ambushed our league. Didn't realize that there was going to be a dispersal, and some of their assets were already, it wasn't a fair pool. But it just wasn't that much fun, really. So yeah, just let them know nice and early. I think there's no issues there. If you let people know early, it's never a problem, I find.
And when are you hoping to kick off this draft for the titles?
It depends on their slackers, mate. If they get their invites, if they got to accept their invites, like,
all right,
what's doing?
Yep. Well, with that, I think we'll sign off. Yeah.
Happy days.
Ciao, everyone.